Hi there, students. A honeymoon period. Okay, a honeymoon period is a short time at the beginning of something where things are wonderful. For example, at the beginning of a new legislation, when a government takes power, they have a honeymoon period. Yeah, it's much easier for them to introduce new changes without people being very upset. Yeah, people liking it. So at the beginning of his term as Prime Minister, he had a honeymoon period where everything he did was okay. Or, for example, when you start a new job, very often you have a honeymoon period during which if you make mistakes, it doesn't matter. Yeah? So the mistake I made was very serious, and the boss said that if I hadn't been in my honeymoon period, he would have dismissed me, he would have fired me from the job. Or, for example, in finance, when you take a loan, very often the first period of that loan has a very low interest rate. Yeah, so a low interest rate during the honeymoon period, and then the interest rate goes up. Yeah, very often they show this very strongly in the advertising, the interest rate during the honeymoon period, and then in little letters at the bottom, after the first year, this interest rate triples or something like that. Okay, so this honeymoon period is a brief period of time at the beginning of a job or a period in government, or even a relationship where everyone is pleased with you and there appear to be absolutely no problems. So the honeymoon period for the new government was over when they started to raise taxes. Okay, yes, let's see, the honeymoon, this is the holiday that a couple go on just after they get married. Yeah, and during this honeymoon period, they are infatuated with each other and they can forgive any faults in the other. Later things change though. So yeah, many couples find it difficult to continue the relationship after the honeymoon period is over. Okay. The new job I got, it seemed absolutely fantastic, but after the honeymoon period was over, I realized there was more work and more responsibility than I could deal with. Okay, so the honeymoon period, the honeymoon at the beginning of something where everything is wonderful and nothing can go wrong, everything seems right. Or maybe you have a new business and there's a honeymoon period where everything seems to be perfect, but the honeymoon period's over when the problems start and things are more difficult. Or maybe you have a company has an agreement with another company, and during the honeymoon period both sides are really happy with the other, but then difficulties start and the honeymoon period is over. Okay, so how formal is this phrase, a honeymoon period? I think I'd give it a 5 in formality. I think you could use it anywhere. Use it in a conversation, use it in a formal writing. I think it works both ways. And then as to origin, okay, this is probably more difficult. Let's see, the idea of honeymoon. Yeah, I think honey, sweetness, and the moon is a month. Also, I think the full moon is like an allegory for the full love between the couple, which slowly wanes as time goes by. Notice that this word honeymoon is present in various different languages. For example, in French, lune de miel, which is exactly the same. Or in Persian, there's a similar word. Ma e Asal, which translates to the month of honey or the moon of honey. So clearly this phrase, the honeymoon, is quite widespread. But as to origin, well, I'd be interested to hear your ideas on the origin of honeymoon. Okay, so a honeymoon period where you can make mistakes and nobody gets upset, where everything looks rosy and wonderful and you're positive about it, but then you start to see the realities. Anyway, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. The honeymoon period.